Hi everyone, today's episode we're joined by Pijinnn. Pijinn's an absolute legend in the Destiny gaming community. If you're like me and you love Destiny, then you'll absolutely love this episode. Hi everyone, welcome to Control, Alt and Compete, and today we're joined by Pijinnn. How are you doing, Pijinnn?
How's it going, man? Good to see you, the handshake.
So Pijinnn, look, I've been a fan of yours for ages, mate, seriously, and I'd like to find out how you got started in gaming and like what your kind of games were that you enjoyed when you were growing up.
Sure. I've actually been reminiscing about the games I played growing up because I've been playing Final Fantasy 16 recently, and I always look back to that being one of the early franchises that I discovered.
So you're a PlayStation guy then?
I was a PlayStation guy, yeah. One of the earliest gaming experience I had though was Sonic the Hedgehog and Golden Axe on the Mega Drive. I actually remember a picture of me sitting in front of the games console, and it was like, there's where it all began.
So what age are you now then?
36.
36.
So I must have been 4 years old at the time. I vaguely remember 4 years old, and my dad got the Mega Drive. So props to my dad for getting me into gaming and being technology orientated at the time.
And so your dad still likes the gaming then, right? Because we'll talk about that later, I suppose. And then how then did you find your niche into like Destiny then?
Oh gosh.
What happened first? Streaming or Destiny or both? How did that happen?
Destiny. So I'm most known for covering Destiny and then Destiny 2. But I think my first FPS games was like GoldenEye on the N64. That kind of progressed into Call of Duty, I think, on PlayStation. And I had a couple of friends at like high school, that played that. So we used to go home and we'd all link up in voice chat, and it was like I really enjoyed it. I was like, yep, first person shooter. I think I was rubbish at it, to be honest, but it was more like the social side. Like we're all hanging out in a voice chat, cussing the wind at our games and stuff. But I think in the back burner, I'd always played those RPG games as well. So I would be sitting in my room, cozy, just me getting immersed in the story, grinding away, doing whatever. A big one at the time would have been Final Fantasy 8. I've played that so many times, like since I first played it. It was by chance. I mean, do you want me to jump into the Destiny?
Do you know what? Let's jump into Final Fantasy, because like when I started it was always Nintendo, then I went to Xbox, and I never played any Final Fantasy.
Really?
Yeah, I know. But like it was same as like The Last of Us. That tree just split. And then, I'd love to kind of dig into them, but there seems so many, I wouldn't know where to start. But
yeah, I think it was like, even members of my family, I had a cousin who was a big gamer, and they always got the new games before I did. So I would always go around to see them, like at the weekend.
Just to see them.
Just to see them, not to get a shot of that hot new game that was out.
Just so happens.
It just so happened. But we were really invested, so we would like name the characters after ourselves, and then we would be following the story. Collecting all the different things, and like it was kind of like a pass the controller situation, so we'd be sitting there like, right, it's your turn, and that was kind of like our way of doing it at the time. And then eventually when I got the game, like I'd be yanking my parents at the shopping centres at the weekend, but like, can I get that? Like
that's what I'm at with my kids now.
I would pick it up HMV, or what was other stores we had? Electronic Boutique. I don't know if you mind that one. That was like an old school one. And Game obviously came out, so I was always like nosy, just holding the game in my hand, like this is the game I want to play.
Who wouldn't, I guess? You're not leaving the shop without it.
Have I got enough pocket money for that?
And then, so how did Destiny come about then?
So it was a bit of it was a total fluke, because, and this is the story, I think it's a pretty cool story to be honest, but I had a holiday from work at the time, and I'd been paid, so I was like, right, I'm just going to go into my local game, and check out the pre-owned section. And I just so happened to come across like a 2 for 20 quid deal or something like that. So I picked up Bloodborne, another franchise that I went on to really enjoy, like the Soulsborne games. And I picked up Destiny 1, and knew nothing about it, to be honest. I wanted a shooter, and I did always kind of crave like a Halo experience, but I didn't own an Xbox at the time, or I never bought into the Xbox stuff much. So I picked up Bloodborne, I picked up Destiny, took it home, and I was like, right, this is my weekend sorted, or my time off sorted.
The rest of your life sorted.
Well, apparently. So turns out Destiny had like a preload thing, like a big. It had been out for a year pretty much at the time, so it was going into its second year. Like it's a live service game, so
So that was 2015 or something like that?
Would have been 2015, yeah. Like, or late 2014,
Right,
maybe.
maybe.
In fact, it came out in 2014, as far as I remember. But the update basically meant I couldn't play it there and then, so I jumped into Bloodborne, had my fun with that, and by like the next day, Destiny was ready to go. It was like 100 gigs or something, and I don't think my internet allowed like a quick download at the time. I fired it up and just...
Who did you go first?
I think I picked a Titan character. I feel like that linked back to the Call of Duty characters that I played before, kind
That's who I went with.
soldiery, that kind of vibe. But I literally set my first steps in it, picked up the first gun, shot it, saw damage numbers, and it instantly like hooked me. Like also like this is a strange one, but like the feedback on the controller was very Halo-esque. I hadn't like the rumble. I was like, that's kind of like Halo. I didn't at the time know it was Bungie who made the game, who had originally made the first 3 Halo games. So, but pretty much the RPG thing was there, the damage numbers, and then the gunplay just instantly like roped me in.
Brilliant, it was. Yeah.
Not long after I started playing, someone on my friends list, just someone I knew in real life at the time as well, just messaged me saying, "Oh, you're playing Destiny?" They jumped in with me, and this is kind of where it really picked up. Like, I reconnected with that social element where, oh, I'm hanging out with someone, we're both in a game together. I think that was all kind of still new.
So do you think so do you think that was the first game then that got you wanting to, properly do stuff online then?
It was, yeah, pretty much. Like, it went from there, me getting like a sort of power fantasy in game to literally consuming all the content about it, like watching YouTube videos, watching live streams. And I fell into this group of actually like Scottish streamers and content creators at the time, and a bunch of them streamed Destiny. And I think it must have been early 2025. I was like, no, not 2025, sorry, 2015 it would have been. In fact, no, that's a lie again, sorry. My timeline's all skewed.
You know what, I wouldn't hang you on it, you're fine, you're fine.
It's fine, but it pretty much came to a point when Destiny 2 came out, and I'd been involved in the live stream space and the Destiny space for quite a bit. So I took to live streaming myself on my PlayStation 4 at the time, like just me, PlayStation 4 camera, and just did the streaming thing, pushed the button as they say.
That was it.
Yeah.
See, I always remember when it first came out, my first son was born, and so my wife was in the hospital, we'd just given birth, and I was back and I had this Destiny game, and I was sitting playing it, and she was like, "You coming in?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm coming in." About the loot cave, I don't know if you heard about the loot cave.
I remember the loot cave.
But I was just blasting that and trying to get more loot. But I think for me, like the first experience I had, and I thought this is brilliant, was the raid.
Right.
So you've been into the raids, but to me that was something, I know World of Warcraft have had their raids, but to me that was the first game thing I've ever done. I thought, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, intense.
That's exactly what happened with me. We got the group together. A lot of them weren't as interested in doing that content, but obviously I was new. So like props to them for going, right, we'll do this. And I did my first raid and then ended up doing multiple raids. And it must have been like 7 o'clock in the morning the next day. I was still up and I was like, this was the best experience ever. Like I was fully invested by that point, like the raid experience. And again, it goes back to that social as well. Like it's 6 players, you're in a group chatting away, and
you've all got to do their bit.
Yeah, you've got to do your bit. But I think I was in tune with the mechanics as well. Yeah. Like I loved visualizing the mechanics in the game, understanding what's going on, cause and effect, and like that's where I've actually been like that to this day. Like I'll analyze every role as it is in the room to like.
See, I'm always envious of people like yourself, because then I'll come in, I'll maybe know some roles and look at some perks, but I feel there's people like you that just know it inside out. And I think when I first found you, I think there was a raid going on, and as I grew older and I had kids, I couldn't play it as much, I couldn't read as much.
I
started living out my Destiny through you.
Right.
I remember you were doing a raid, I think it was Deep Stone Crypt, I think that was the first time I seen it, and the raid had just started and you were doing you're trying to do the world's first.
Yeah.
And then I watched up until like 1 a.m, and I was like, you were still trying to do it. I went to my bed, and I remember waking up on my phone and just being like, and you were still on it, but you done it. And I remember your dad coming in at the end, and I was like, that was brilliant. To me, that was the most engaged I've been with like a content creator, streamers, because I loved the game and you doing it. It was so cool.
That was definitely a peak moment for me, because at the time I'd moved to PC.
Yep.
I'd only been on for like 4 or 5 months as well, so I'd say I was still learning how to play on like mouse and keyboard, and there's a kind of different culture there as well versus like console. But that was like my first challenge thing that I'd done, and yeah, I streamed it. I'm pretty sure by my clear I'd peaked at like over 150 viewers, which was massive at the time. A lot of people were coming in going, right, he's going to get it.
I was cheering you on. I was telling you not to give up. I don't know if I was doing your mental health any good, but I was saying don't give up, even though you had not slept.
The actual clip made it to my channel trailer as well, like, and it's just me. It's right at the end of my channel trailer, and it's just me celebrating off my nut, like what a feeling.
People can't explain like on a game when you eventually and like it's like one more time, like you're trying to keep people going to do it. When you actually do it, that moment when the bar goes down and you kill the boss or whatever you're doing,
it's adrenaline, like pure adrenaline rush. Like I remember shaking so much, like I need to execute here. This is it. This is we get the clear, and I'm just not even looking at my Twitch chat. I'm just like losing it basically the whole time. And then getting that clear, there's nothing like it.
No.
And that's pretty much became a premise for what I wanted to be about in the game, was working towards those challenges and finding the right teams and getting involved, and then eventually taking others through it as well. Like
that's what I've always found really good about the game. There's so many people that like Sherpas are actually committed to try and help you. There's so many nice players that play it. They'll actually take you through, even though maybe you can't be bothered yourself. They'll still try and take you through, make you learn, and
they've got an amazing Sherpa community for sure. Like dozens and dozens, and it's not always been the focus of my content, but I often link up with them to help, like to be part of their content, and it's usually a good time. Like you meet new players, people that are probably just there to get a clear, like they know what they're doing, and then all the way up to people that are just brand new, like, oh, this is my first time doing this, and that amazes me. Like,
what a scary game to go in brand new with, the way.
It is, yeah, absolutely. I think that's like the first barrier, like finding out how to do stuff and perform, and it does kind of exert a pressure on some people, like, oh, like I don't know what I'm doing here, and I'm like, do you know what? It doesn't matter. Like we're here to just guide you through it as best we can.
It must be hard for people like Bungie when you think about the fact that they've got a game, they've got to keep on servicing people like yourselves, myself, who love the game, they want new content, but at the same time trying to make it a bit easier for new players to join in, so that's a tricky balance. How did you go and meet Bungie then? Did you go through?
I've not been lucky enough to go through, but...
Did I not see you went to the States for something?
I was there for the GCX event.
Okay, right.
Which was kind of built on the Destiny community.
Okay.
As an event, but it's larger than life now. It used to be called Guardian Con.
Right. Okay.
And it was founded by a group of creators near Florida, and I'm pretty sure it started out in a bar, which then went on to be bigger and bigger spaces, more and more people coming through, to the point where last year the one I went to, it was at Universal Studios in Orlando, like. They have warehouses there and studios and all sorts. So yeah, that was the trip there. I did meet the Bungie representatives. They were awesome. They were busting a gut, to be honest, that weekend. My first brush with Bungie though was hilarious. There was a secret mission in the game called 0 Hour.
It was timed.
It was timed, yeah. That dropped on us
oh no! See, you're actually outside the building trying to do the jumps. That was
it was a tough mission, but when that launched, this could be spoilers, I guess, but there was
please give the spoilers.
I mean, it's like 4 or 5 years old, but there was a section where there was this automated robot that they called Trevor.
Okay.
Lovingly called Trevor, and it caught us all off guard because it just came at you like in this sort of. Think like a creepy corridor section where you're trying to be stealthy, you're trying to hide, and this thing comes flying at you out of nowhere.
Right.
So I got a clip. I was streaming at the time. I'd kind of started streaming, and I clipped me getting jump scared by it. Bungie asked people to submit clips for it, and it ended up being the community manager Cosmo contacted me to say, "Hey, can we use your clip?" And I was like, "What is going on?" Like he followed me on Twitter and stuff, and I was like, "This is kind of a big deal." And I feel like that kind of put me on a path to people maybe saw I'd interacted with him and kind of went, oh, who's this guy? And I could tell you that whole story another time, to be honest. But the TLDR was that put me in their kind of sights, and it just kind of went from there. Something I say often is the rest is history. Like I kept on doing what I was doing. I actually got featured as a community focus. They were recognising different individuals in the community. And one of the community managers at the time reached out to say, hey, we'd love to like feature you in an article. That was a huge deal. I think that was 2022. And that was really peak for me at the time. Like the time I'd invested in the game, the community, and my streaming of it. Like, Bungie's like I've been lucky enough to be in touch with them since. To be honest, different activations.
They were always the holy grail for me. I think with Halo, when they were doing the Halo games, I remember they would do so much for the community, and it was the first kind of company I seen that would like do teasers, and I used to look at one little picture of a new map and Halo, and then when they made Destiny, I was like, yeah, I'm sold.
I missed all that hype.
Oh, it's fine.
I was a late entry.
You're probably doing something better with your life at that point, but I was like stuck in it. I nearly like ruined myself at college because of Halo 2, because I just couldn't stop playing it, and I was even telling somebody last night, I was speaking in Discord, and they were like, oh yeah, I'm doing my exams, but he runs esports tournaments, and I was like, no, listen, just stick in the now, mate. I nearly done it with Halo. Where do you think, now it's been bought by Sony, where do you think it's going to go then?
So, it's a tough question, to be honest.
Do you think they should make a Destiny 3 and start again and bring over some characters? Or do you think, like, because I got the final shape, jumped back in, loved it, amazing. My mates jumped in, and then once again I just hit a bit of burnout with it and kind of left it. But
see, I guess it's different for everyone, because I know plenty of people that do that. They just come back for annual expansion.
My wife says she's a Destiny widow. So it's actually, if I mention the word Destiny now, it's like a bad word. So really, I've got to be careful the way I play this. Yeah.
The time sink, the late nights, I get that. I think it's different for everyone. Like, some people will be like back for the expansions.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, that was the end of their original 10-year like plan. They originally started out with Destiny 1.
Was that the 10-year plan? Do you think they had that all? Or do you think?
I think they did, yeah. They originally were published with Activision.
Right,
so, that was like the Destiny 1 cycle, and I think it was 6 years in that they became self-publishing, and then a few years later they're back with Sony. Well, not even back with Sony, they were bought out by Sony. For me, I guess my personal opinion would be, I think I'm always just going to play those games like when they came out, not totally blindly, like with a good level of criticism or like feedback. Yeah, I was thinking of the word there. I generally don't know. Like, I think the game's in a good state just now, and we're heading towards their first major follow-up since the final shape. So
is another expansion coming, do you think?
Yeah, this year.
Because when Bungie bought it, so when Sony bought it, there must have been something in the deck to say, look, we're going to do a Destiny 3 or we've got another game in the pipeline. Because we would have bought it not just knowing that there was a game that was fading, there'd be something, I think.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that anyway.
They're working on Marathon just now.
Yeah, that was one of the games that they'd done with, I don't know, they'd always teased that with Halo before Halo, was it? Was that one of their first games?
It was, yeah. I think Marathon was one of the last ones they did before Halo came out at the time. But as far as I know, that's been developed, and Destiny's still their main game, and it's like I generally forget how popular a game it is. Like, it's usually in the top 10 in Steam charts. It's got millions of players, like, worldwide. So I think it'd be rude to like stop that like in its tracks. Just go, right, we're done with that.
No, you can't.
They just can't. Not just now. And I mean, I've seen games. You mentioned World of Warcraft. I'm pretty sure it's been going for like 20 years, or something like that. That's mind blowing to me.
That's still going strong, and people. I think World of Warcraft players would laugh at Destiny because I think there's a lot of bits that would maybe taken from games like that, and so I think these World of Warcraft players, they've got the big raids as well that they do as well. I think I think they should do a Destiny 3 and just go for it and just start.
Yeah, I mean, they could.
A couple of other kind of.
It could absolutely be a thing. Like, I think they're forever changing their content model. So the one that's meant to come out, I'd say fall this year. They've not got a release date. Is changing the formula again. They're downsizing from major expansions into two sort of medium-sized expansions. And well, they're apparently still doing seasons as well. So it's like 2 seasons per medium expansion. So I don't know, to be honest. It would probably be going dark to do a Destiny 3, you know, like they could be like, we're going dark now, 2 or 3 years, and then what do you do with those 2 or 3 years, you know?
See the competitive side, right? I think in Crucible, you know, I think, do you ever think that could be, I know we said we want to talk about anything competitive, but I've just thought about it. Do you think they could ever make that, given Bungie done with Halo, right? I think they maybe want to do it again from the ground up and give the competitive bit a really good working, do you think? Because it's good fun, but it's never really taken off to like having teams, has it?
Not really, no. I think it's a bit more, I think the word I would use would be it's a bit more arcadey.
Yep.
So it's like you jump in and play. It's got copious amounts of balancing issues as well that they do try and fix to appease the player base. But I think they would be problematic in a competitive environment. Although there's a lot of sort of community-run events.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
But when you look at them, they've got these insane ban lists that are pages sometimes because this thing's broken or this thing is, it's offset from what's normal. So, I mean, I've never actually taken part in one of those, but I look at the rule set and I go, yeah, I can see why that's disallowed or it's limited or... So, for a competitive side of Destiny, I would love to see it. I would, because there's some amazing gamers in the community who are, I would consider just cracked no matter what is the meta or what's going on in the game in terms of balancing.
And what's the one again that launches on a Friday? What's that called? The Friday
Trials.
Trials. How far have you done in that before then?
I take part sometimes. I usually.
You got to the lighthouse at the end?
You do, yeah. Well, I've been a couple of times, yeah. I'm not the most skilled PvP player. I tend to express that in other games like Apex or sometimes Call of Duty. Yeah, I love Apex. Sorry, I'm just gathering my thoughts.
I was going to say, though, how do you feel your community then is? How do you feel that from being a streaming point of view? I've been like, everyone's following you for the content and you're like, oh, I'm putting Apex on tonight.
I did that a few times. I think, yeah, there's definitely people there for Destiny, people are there for me, or recently it's been new games. Like I've put a big focus on, hey, I'm trying out the hot new thing, and I think it just is a matter of nurturing that, to be honest.
You need to do that for your own.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like
because any game to the point
to the limit.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of like passionate Destiny gamers, but I've actually seen them, and this has been since the way the content's been for Destiny. They've branched out to other games as well, and I saw that as an opportunity to go, hey, like let's make, and like as an example, my Discord, I've made that a wide open gaming space now. It used to be very Destiny centric, but now I've opened up categories for the games that they're playing as well, like Warframe as an example. I mean, that's quite similar to Destiny.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've always one of those games. Sometimes it takes me a while to actually maybe take the plunge to get it, but I've heard it's supposed to be like that.
It's very similar, yeah. It's also got a very like high barrier entry, like getting into it and understanding it. I checked it out. But I did make a space for people who are playing it still. I stopped playing it. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't for me.
No.
But there's still to this day people use those sections to talk about Warframe, and for me it's like all different genres like that I want to nurture, that I'm interested in.
So what else are you doing at the moment then?
So I've been doing some RPG games. To be honest, I'm getting back to my roots. I'm obsessed with like hack and slash stuff just now. Right, so recently played a few demos. There was a game called First Berserker, Kazan. As I mentioned, I was playing Final Fantasy 16. That's been my wee offline treat. I'm not even kidding. I'm reclined in my chair, controller. No one's coming near me. All my monitors are shut down. That kind of old, like the way I was when I was a kid, to be honest. And the Soulsborne games. So Elden Ring, I did Dark Souls, which were some of my most popular variety streams recently. Okay. I think people just like to see me suffer, if I'm being honest.
That's fine.
They're just like, yeah, he's going to get wrecked in this run, whatever he's doing.
Is Dark Souls, tell me about Dark Souls. What's a really tricky game? So that also was PlayStation side, wasn't it? Dark Souls games.
I couldn't tell you. Bloodborne was PlayStation exclusive. Dark Souls, I never played it when it came out. Like I literally played them this year. The remaster, they did a remaster of the first one. I played Elden Ring last year as well.
Is that
fantastic game. I went from a 30-hour attempt originally when it came out, and then I got brick walled. I was stuck.
What do you mean, like you attempted to do it? So tell me about the 30. What do you mean by a 30-hour? What do you mean?
So I streamed it and I played and I put about 30 hours into it, and then I got hard stuck on a boss, and I actually gave up at the time, or it put me off playing it. The DLC got announced, and I was like, right, I'll revisit it. And in that time, it had been a year or two, something had clicked. And I was like, oh, I totally get this now. Like, I understand the genre, how to play it. And I went from like the 30 hours to like 140 hours, like playing to completion and then checking out the DLC. And like I said, that was a really popular time in my stream. People were there to see me fight the bosses. I think like the Souls community, there's a lot of people want to, like you said, like vicariously watch someone go through what they went through.
While they're doing, while they're doing the dishes, or like they've got babies or that, they can't do
Well,
invest in it.
exactly. They're like, I want to see how you tackle this boss, or so that was an interesting time. A lot of them were like cross communities, Destiny, the Souls games, and then RPGs like the Final Fantasy games again. So it was always good to like meet those people or have them come in to like my community.
Yeah. And how many more people from Scotland have you met then, do you think, through that, the Destiny
Just
community?
a handful. I'm not going to lie. I say we're a rare breed often. That's definitely something that I capitalised on. Like I had a whole mini campaign where my tagline was just Scottish Destiny streamer to try and entice people in to go, well, here's a Scottish dude playing Destiny. And I think a lot of the US folk really warmed to that. They're like, oh, he's Scottish, and oh, I love your accent. Oh, and
You get that a lot, don't you?
yeah. I totally exploited that like at the time. So like I did check my audience recently, and it says UK is like 2% of my audience, and 50% is North America.
Cool.
So it's just one of those things.
And so how do you gear yourself up again if you've ever hit a dry spot with like a game? How do you gear yourself up for a stream to be like, to go back into Destiny? Do you know what you're going to do when you go into the game? Are you still trying to do all the... It's not, oh my God, I'm going to...
It's like self-motivation.
Not the medals. What's the ones where you get the triumphs? How many of those have you got? Because I've only got 3 or something. But
I'm going to be honest, I'm not a completionist.
How many? You must have more than 3.
Oh, I've got a fair few. There's a lot of time limited ones, so I go back and do those definitely. But a lot of I just have this way about me. I don't like being forced out of my use this thing or use that thing. So like if there's objectives that are use weapon A and activity B, I'm just kind of like, nah, I don't want to do that, or that doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, that kind of takes the fun out.
I just like passively play through. But it's a lot of it's self motivation. I do understand there's like fear of missing out as well, which can be bad. Like when you're playing a game like Destiny, it's like, oh, if you didn't get that thing or you didn't do that thing, your chance is gone. So a lot of people would find that motivation, but it can also be frustrating if you don't have the actual time like for investment.
And what's the new expansion? I know the new expansion, they've brought back the Dreadnought, didn't they? I was going to jump back in. So what's that like? Has that been quite cool?
It's been awesome, yeah. So they called them episodes this year. There was 3. We're on the 3rd episode just now, and then it's structured around 3 different acts. So we're in Act 2 just now, and I think they're cooking. I think we're starting to maybe see a potential for a new storyline. Like I talk about this in chat all the time. I'm like there needs to be conflict for this like saga to continue. It's not like we killed the big bad, that's it, we're done. You know, there's loose ends definitely, but like they definitely need to pivot to a new antagonist or a new like purpose to like work towards. Yeah.
Who's your favourite bunch of baddies, and what's been your favourite raid that you've done?
Favourite raid? Gosh, that's a tough one to be honest. I just hop around them quite a lot. I think Deepstone Crypt, the one that I got my first contest, 24 hour clear, that's got like a special place in my memories, you know, like, because that was the first time I was able to do that. I think King's Fall probably as well. That was one I did a lot in Destiny 1. We've got it in Destiny 2. And it's quite an expansive raid, lots of unique bosses. Yeah. It's just got this feeling about it. It's, to me, it's like nostalgic mixed with ominous, you know, it's a good time. So.
They must be the most exciting ones, because usually I'm the guy that's on YouTube or trying to get toured around it, but you guys going in for the first time, did it ever get quite frustrating when you're in there trying to work out like how to do something next?
So we've got a few factors. I'm like, we had a dungeon out recently, which is like a smaller scale raid experience, and like for those that don't know, they implement a thing called Contest, which is a combat modifier where things are scaled harder, more aggressive, and you get like limited revives, and in some cases you get like timed encounters. You need to beat the clock to get through.
You get wiped.
Yeah, so we did the most recent dungeon when it launched. during contests, and like I could feel the way, the pressure of it. We're here learning this, and it's tricky. Yeah, like it's a game, and it pushes back. Is the way I feel about it. It's like I'm here because a lot of the time you are just mowing through everything like laughably. Like that's the whole idea. You're doing like a power fantasy, but when you get into these scenarios, it's like that's gone. You're actually on the spot.
Somebody keeps dying.
Yeah. The 24-hour things I did before, I promised myself that was over. I was like, because ended up, so they launch at like 6 o'clock UK time.
Yeah.
So I mean, like time zone's a factor. Like it's nighttime already or early evening, and by the time you're 5-6 hours down, it's like it's midnight. So I remember like completely breaking myself for these contest experiences. This was the first one I said, I'm going to my bed and I'll get up early the next day, because you have until about the same time the next day. And that's exactly what I did. And it was like the best decision I ever made, because in actual fact, that original feeling of friction and frustration, I was able to just kind of sleep on it and go in with a fresh head on the next day.
Yeah.
And we got her clear like in the afternoon, and I was like, that was amazing. Yeah. That's how I'm going to do it from now on.
Yeah, that sounds sensible. So what I'm going to ask you is, right, next time there's one, I want to join you, right, for a raid.
Right.
But the thing is, I'll just tell my wife. She probably won't, because it's a Destiny episode, she'll definitely want to watch this, right? So I'll just say that you asked me.
Right.
And then I'll join you.
That's a good excuse.
I can put it back on, right? I'll say, listen, Pijinn's asked me. What can I do?
I'm always setting up stuff in my Discord and stuff. I've got an open Destiny role. I'm like, right, Destiny gamers, assemble, first come, first serve.
Let's do it.
And if someone gets left out that situation, I'll make a point to contact them first, you know, like, hey, like, do you want to hop in for this thing that you missed last time?
Oh, good man. Cool. Well, listen, pleasure to meet you. Like I said, it must be weird because I think I've probably seen you a hell of a lot more than you've seen me. So definitely a pleasure meeting you, and all the best with it all.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.